Yeah, a good fellow by the name of Caldwell Taylor started teaching us in 1977, and by 78 he gone about the business.
Oh, so that's when the French left you and gone.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
All
That's
right.
right. So it's a pleasure as always. And last week we started discussing our cultural language. Where it came from, and we want to continue this week because there are so many words that we use that has so many different meanings. The same word meaning the same thing. Last week, scholar tell us about babale. We know babale to mean when you spin around and you get a little kind of tutulbe. Then we also know babale is when you make you take the sauce up and you make your little thing and you drink it. So all of these things, they have significant meaning, and we're going to discuss it because we've been getting a lot of calls. As a matter of fact, someone sent a message today to the station saying that they have a bone to suck with me, and that we don't involve our online listeners because they have quite a number of them in New York and other places in North America who tune into us, and they're so happy for that program. So this evening, since Livingston was not with us last week, I'm coming to you first, partner. We want to know where you was. I noticed I didn't say where you was.
I was hiding very far. But let me take the time, Godfrey. Since I was missing in action, I thought the program last week was you all stayed on, you all kept the fort. But before we really go into any matter, I just want to say my good friend, my sister, Ann Peters, it is always a pleasure sitting on any forum at all with her. And I think a lot of people don't know the depth of the passion, but also the information, the knowledge that this sister has in our culture and in our cultural folklore picture. For a matter of fact, I always believe that the Peters family, that Peters family probably is foremost in our folk music and folk songs. And when you hear Sister Anne go into them old time calypso, Godfrey, I know she would give you a run for your money when you come to that. And those yeah? I mean, real back in time. So anyway, I guess hopefully our next program, she would come. But I'm glad you start with me because I don't want people like Dianne and them to beat me to it. I don't want to pretend that I know much patois. But I also want to use this opportunity to test everybody here to actually see if we could apply the phrases we know in patois in a different way. So, example, when scholar, several times I say by scholar, but I don't know what you're talking about, but you're making. And I want us to fit in the patois word that would describe that action. So let me start again. Scholar, you don't seem to know what you're talking about, boy. What you're doing, you're making. And then we use that patois word. Eh?
Mawet.
You're making mawet. Exactly. Mawet. Right, that is it again. Now, the boy only peeping. He's
He's what? I didn't hear that.
Marco?
the boy only peeping.
Oh, okay, people, yeah. Amako.
Marco. That boy not staying home at all, always in the bush, always in the road.
Like
He drive.
Oh, you wear one?
Drive West.
Good. You have no class. You know your behavior is classless. You are
You're a jungle.
no, they don't want to have.
But that's one too.
You see, you have a lot of words, but that is one.
No, I know, but that, you want to have actually a jukutu. Classes.
Jukutu?
Yes.
No, even so. Jukutu is something else, man.
Jukutu is
Something else for me.
It's for us, but
I find Jukutu is something else.
You
Wajan
use
could be one of that too.
Yeah.
One of them too.
Wajan.
Wajan.
but Wajang is like you like a lot of country, Jean.
Yeah, bacchanal kind of thing. TAB.
two is like you're saying, let's say all of us going to the party and some stray way come with us. You will say, hey, where he going Jukutu here and all want to come into that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Jukutu Wesley
Yeah, I
College
want to
in
come.
South.
Jukutu. Hey, careful with that, eh? You see when you come to this kind of thing.
Why are you so loud, behaving so ill-bred? Why are you behaving so ill-bred?
Ill bred is ill disciplined.
Maleve.
No, yeah, but
You maleve.
you maleve.
Yes.
That's them called hardwood, Godfrey, hardwood. And some men believe that if you use that tree, it would actually help them.
Barbande.
Wabande.
Uh-huh. All right.
You want me to stop and come in again? Because that was my introduction. I have several more, but we can stop here, or you want me to continue?
Well, I want to tackle Dianne, because you see, Dianne has the background, and she might be able to help us with the origin of some of these words, because a lot of these words that we use, as a matter of fact, I was saying last week that some of the words we use within our vocabulary now, I was surprised because I have a little patois book. And I got to realize that some of the words that we use in our vocabulary today are actually patois words. And I did not know that. So Dan, come in here and help us out with some of these words with the French background. Because one of the things, sometimes I get a little lost trying to figure out whether the background of some words is actually French or Creole, which is the African.
Well, quite a lot of them have that French about them. They have this French origin, but because they have changed the pronunciation so much, it's sort of difficult to tell exactly which words they came from. So it would take a lot of more research and maybe because we have lost the language for so long, it may be a bit difficult to get to the bottom of all of those words. But we can identify some of those that, like for example, I'm just thinking there, and in my mind, Tosho came to mind, and it's direct. It's a French word actually for a duster, and that's what we use when we say we have a torchon. We take a torchon and we wipe in our counter and all of those things. So a lot of the words, when you look back, they actually came, you can trace them to the French, but because they have lost that pronunciation, and sometimes even, another thing, we cannot really try to write them or to spell them. We would have different spellings. And writing them really is we have to speak them. So it's a difficult task, a real difficult task to get to the exact origin of those words. But I can definitely say, yes, that a lot of them are French.
Right. Scott, I'll leave you for last because I know you have another thing to say. Let's go to Sister Anne. Sister Anne,
Godfrey, before you go to Tanti Anne, you don't even give me a chance to introduce, like to say good night to my dear cousin.
Okay,
right away.
My apologies.
So, good night, Tanti Anne.
Good night, darling.
Godfrey,
That is sunshine. Don't get fed up and don't get worried.
You see, now let me tell you something. When I get information, sometimes I work on it. Now, sometime last week, it dawned on me that there is some kind of blood relation between the two of you. So I said, you know what? Let me get them on the program. And I mean, here we are. So it's not very close. It's not by accident.
Father, is she great granduncle? Ain't it that? Something so?
My great granduncle.
Yeah. So it's not pumpkin, it's kind of close.
Very good. So, Sister Annie, yes, let's talk about some of those words and phrases that we used many years ago. Some of them still with us.
Yeah. But Godfrey, no, because I'm not versed in patois at all, because as a child, patois was exclusive language for big people. And I remember the first time my grandmother sent me to get her pipe in patois. I can't remember exactly what it is now. And I went and got the pipe. I was banished from all conversations because she recognized that I understood what they were saying. She sent me for the pipe. But what I find very interesting in our own Grenadian lexicon or language is that we say a lot of things, a lot of phrases that we use, but it's backward patois. And maybe now that Dianne is there, she might be able to interpret it. In other words, we say things, but when you look at it, it's actually broken French translation without changing the context of the theme. So you might say, she making baby. Yeah? But if we have to say she making baby in broken French, that is what it turns out to be if you're translating it verbatim. I can't tell you the word like Dianne might know the French interpretation of, but we say that she making baby, it making hot, right? That's not standard English, but that's all Grenadian lexicon. It making hot. How they calling you? That's reverse patois. How they calling you? It had two boys in the yard, right? All of those kinds of statements and slangs are basically backward patois. But the English translation, that's how it is translated, and that's how we speak. So while we may have lost the French and the patois, we have kept the structure of the language in our English lexicon.
Right.
Dianne could correct me if I'm being incorrect. So Ida's going to market every Saturday. That's patois. Ida's going to market every Saturday. That's not English language in the context of the English language. Miss Miwi, like you're having a confusion and somebody saying Miss Miwi, that's again is reverse English patois translation. Yeah, beat him out. All of these things we say, that's where it came from.
Scholar, last week I think you were making the point that some of these words and phrases, it's very difficult to try to spell or to understand them, but basically just use them in the context for which they are intended. Because I guess trying to understand, you just can't.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Some of those things are basically concepts. That's what we take them as. And fighting to unravel them, really, it makes no sense. So the concept of basity is a concept. The concept of broco and all these things and them, these are concepts, right? And trying to because sometimes you try to unravel them, and really what we say they mean in English, they don't really mean that, right? They might mean even more than that in English, and I think we had spoken about one or two last week. But the fact that the matter is, Godfrey, as Sister Annie is saying, what has happened, right, is that while we do not speak the patois with flowing sentences and what have you, right, as they would speak it in Dominica and in St. Lucia and what have you, what we have done is maintained a lot of patois words, and we have infused it into our, well, I don't know if it's English or Creole, or so there are words, for example, that we know straight out you can find in English, right? Even some of the words that Sister Anne is using now, you'll find them in English, although how they are hooked up, they are not hooked up like that in English, but they are English words, all right? But inside of all of that, and as Livingston was quizzing us, inside of all of that, you will find words that we use that are not English words at all. They're more in like Frenchish kind of, and we use them all the time, right? They have become part of the whole callaloo, of the whole thing. And I think that in itself is what makes our language so flawed, I believe, and so sentient.
But let me ask this. Even in our pronunciation of some words, we tend to go in a particular way. And this afternoon, I was talking about it. For example, a name like, let's say, Pauline or Paula. We would not pronounce the word that way. We go say Paula or Pauline. Why that kind of slant? I mean, is it from the patois or the Creole that we take those kind of angle with our pronunciation of some words?
Well, it is quite possibly, Godfrey, because as you said that, for example, the AU in French is pronounced O, so we say Paula, and we don't say, so we sort of, we kind of make it a kind of Francophone, a kind of Frenchish song, rather than the English, the British song. And what Tanti Ann said a while ago is so correct about so many of the phrases and the structures, the way we structure our sentences, the choice of words that we use when we speak. Those things that remain in our language are actually French influence. So though we have lost the patois, and the patois was greatly influenced by the French language, the patois that we spoke back then, we have not lost our dialect. So we have quite a lot of those structures remaining, quite a lot of those words remaining, and quite a lot can be seen in our language and heard in our language when we speak.
Let me, if I could add something to this. You know what you're saying there, right? When people speak that way, they say in Grenada, they say you're speaking bad or you're speaking flat.
Right,
Right? I mean, for example, this was something that had been leveled against Poor Inspector. From since Inspector came on the scene. And the good thing about Inspector spent all this kind of time in America. He traveled, he go all over the world. He speak in the same way. He always speak from since he started as a little boy. There's no flavor to what he did, right? He speaks the same way. And they'll tell you he's speaking flat or he's speaking bad or what have you. And I believe that especially in parts of St. Patrick's and so on, because we use a lot of the patois words, I realize in our speaking. And a lot of it, if you listen to how the St. Lucian speak and the Dominican speak, is the same kind of flat thing that we're speaking about. So I believe that there's that French influence in there that is making us speak that kind of way. And this is why we're saying when we say Paula and Pauline and this kind of thing, and there is a French kind of influence taking over. And this is why people say we speak flat.
Definitely so.
If I could make a comment there, Godfrey.
Sure,
That is why we need to really ram it home that in Grenada we speak two languages. We speak Grenadian first. That is our working, regular, everyday language. And that's why we had to go and do CXC to pass Her Majesty's English language, because that's a professional language that we have to learn, and we have to learn it from whatever school to learn about verb and subject agreement, etc., etc. But what we have done is we have attempted to push our language aside, and rather than having us celebrate it, because I don't know if many of you are aware, you can listen to somebody and know exactly which parish they're coming from in Grenada. And in some instances, you can even narrow it down to the village, because there are certain terms and language or phrase that you only hear in particular villages in the country. The first time I heard an old lady say, hey, all you like a hengibbit come off a mango tree. I didn't know what a hengibbit was, but it's the equivalent to a woman in Grenville saying, hey, all you like a nastiness come down a mango tree. So a hengibbit in St. David's for an older person is a little nastiness from St. Andrews.
But when she call them hengibbit, what you tell them?
Come down a mango tree.
Otherwise,
but I didn't go into the. Oh yes. Otherwise, I chopping out your hand, shut. You can't even wear vest.
Well, we have flush.
No, that.
Somewhere else you should
Hold on. We need. Hold on, sister, and we need.
Have to look.
Yeah, we need to go to the break because we have the lotto. So let's just take the lotto break quickly and we come in right back. Stay with us, folks. Don't go anywhere.
Get high making money moves with the NLA's new Aces High Scratch game with 4 chances to win. Beat the dealer's card to win the prize shown. Reveal an A symbol. And just like that, you are automatically a winner. Scratch away to win the top prize of $10,000. Win easy with Scratch. Must be 18 or older to play.
Good evening, viewers and listeners. Welcome to the National Lotteries Authority's Daily Pick 3 Evening Draw for today, Friday, September 18th, 2020. I am Anisha. Anisha Charles. With me this evening is Miss Priscilla Barry from PKF Accountants and Business Advisors, whose purpose is to ensure that this draw is conducted in an accountable manner, that the game balls with industry standards and in a way stamped with. At the same time, tickets ready. It's Daily Pick 3. It pays to play. Good luck. First up this evening is check the tickets in the meantime. First up this evening is 5. Second number. Second number is 3. Third and final number. Final number is 6. Okay, let's recap those numbers. Those on the screen. First number up is 5. The second, 3. Third and final is 6. So that's 5, 3, and 6. Congratulations, all winners. Stay tuned. Get your daily cash flow drop next. We'll see you soon.
Tick, tock, toe. I win.
Feel like a big kid again when you play NLA's new scratch game, Tic-Tac-Toe. It's instant cash on the go. Reveal 3 X's or 3 O's in the same row, column, or diagonally, and win the prizes shown, or as much as $5,000. Win easy with Scratch. Must be 18 or older to play. Tic-Tac-Toe, please.
Give me a tic-tac-toe, please.
Tic-tac-toe, please.
Welcome back, everyone, to another Daily Cash for Evening Draw for today, Friday, September 18th, 2020. I am Anisha Charles. With me again is Ms. Priscilla Barry from PKF Accountants and Business Advisors, whose purpose is to ensure that this draw is conducted in an accountable manner, and the game balls with industry standards and in a way stamped with. At the time, ensure tickets ready. It's Daily Cash for more plays, bigger prizes. Let's find out what this evening's winning numbers will be. Good luck. This evening is check your tickets in the meantime. First number up is 4. Second number. Second number is 0. Third number up. Third number is 1. Fourth and final number. Final number is 8. Okay, let's recap those numbers. Names on the screen. First number up is 4. The second, 0. Third, 1. Fourth and final is 8. So that's 4, 0, 1, and 8. Congratulations, all winners. Stay tuned. Get your play we drop next. We'll see you soon.
Win more with the NLA's Daily Cash 4 every day, with more plays and bigger prizes to be won. It's a 4-digit game with all the bet types you already know and much, much more. From 0000 to 9999. Choose your 4 numbers and place your bet from 11 different bet types. Choose from inline, 4 different mixes, first 3, last 3, and 4 different backup options too. Best of all, it starts at just $1, except for backups, which starts at $2. Win as much as $5,000 with a $1 inline bet and as much as $6,200 in a $2 backup bet. Imagine $50,000 for a winning $10 inline bet. There's definitely more to win with the Daily Cash 4. More plays, bigger prizes. Twice per day, Mondays to Saturdays. Must be 18 and over to participate. NLA, making your dreams come true while supporting sports, culture, and nation building.
Welcome back, everyone, to another Playway Evening Draw for today, Friday, September 18th, 2020. I am Anisha Charles. With me again is Ms. Priscilla Barry from PKF Accountants and Business Advisors, whose purpose is to ensure that this show is conducted in an accountable manner, and the game balls with industry standards and in a way stamped with. Let's play Playway, follow your dreams, and win your way. Good luck. This evening's winning Playway numbers. Check it in the meantime. Number is 15. Let's recap the number 1515. 15 represents dream symbol lizard. Congratulations, all the winners of this evening's Playway draw. Tune in later on for the Lotto draw. This evening we're playing for a jackpot of $266,000. We'll see you then.
I'm a winner. You are winner. We are winners. Winners.
it's the big one. Grenada, imagine winning $25,000 and up to 6 times by scratching just one lotto ticket. Get your triple cash scratch tickets for a chance to live your best life. Win easy with Scratch. For just $3, match any of your numbers to any of the winning numbers and win the prize shown for that number. Reveal a money back symbol and win the prize instantly. Triple cash scratch in stores now. Must be 18 or older to play.
Cause I'm a winner. From the moment that I get up, I'm feeling right.
The countdown is on to win free groceries for 1 year with the food tier. Just a few more days left to shop for a chance to win up to $8,400 in groceries. Look out for the live grand draw on October 9th, 2020. Win free groceries for 12 months, free groceries for 6 months, or free groceries for 3 months. Promotion runs until September 30th, 2020. Terms and conditions apply.
It's new, innovative and classy, and it cut above the rest. Your one-stop shop for bathtubs, kitchenette, customized doors and windows, and even a new paint job. We also sell quartz and solid surface countertops. At M&N Hardware, we offer best prices, excellent service, efficiency, and reliability. Visit us at Dusty Highway, Grandin, St. George, or call telephone number 440-6757. M&N Hardware, from foundation to roof. Let's build together.
Kindly greasy pole, and we don't dance round the maypole. Kindly greasy pole, and we don't dance round the maypole.
Welcome back, folks. It's We Culture, and in case you're just joining us, we have, of course, with us scholar Finley Jeffery, Mrs. Jeffery, Mrs. Ann Peters, Livingston Nelson. Just before we go back to some of the comments now, I did get cautioned by our people online, so we have some comments here already. Livingston, for the question you asked, somebody said was a Jamet. I don't remember which one is that. Someone also says that, and that's Andrea STB Mitch, I'm not sure what that is, right? A lot of words have been anglicized. Also, they said to wash dishes, some even use the tosher. Well, Dianne made a reference to that earlier. Someone says we need to get in touch with Mr. Ike Hamlet from MacDonald College. He's fluent in patois. Scholar, you know Mr. Ike?
I know Mr. Ike. I'm not sure if Mr. Ike is so fluent in patois, but I know Mr. Ike very well.
Well, somebody...
He might have gained one or two things when last I saw him, but I know he was with he was dealing with it. Learning it.
All right. Okay. Great. Wonderful. So we're sharing the live as the folks requested, and we are going to be taking the comments. We're going to get some from WhatsApp in a bit. Our telephone line is going already, but we're going to go to the telephone at the top of the hour once after we take the actual win lotto or lotto draw. So we're coming back, Sister Anne. I had to cut you. Before we went to the break, so you can continue with some of the. I like the part about not being able to wear vests. You know that had me cracking up for a couple of days. Well.
Yeah. Yes, but I can't even remember what I was saying before we went to the break. But we were talking about anglicizing a lot of words. For example, in Grenada we say lambi. But it's labby. If you talk to somebody from St. Lucia or one of those islands, that's how it's pronounced, is Labby, which is the French name for what we call lambi. And we have a word here, we call it, we say campeche, but it's capeche.
Okay.
So again, we anglicize a lot of things. But, I just want to share a joke with you guys. I was doing some research, and you remember, I don't know if any of you remember, Sparrow sang a whole calypso in patois called Kele Zaina.
Yes.
Kele Zaina, oi, oi, Kele Zaina. So I saw the written version of Kele Zaina and could not recognize what it was. Because like Dianne was saying earlier on, it's difficult to write patois. But then in the translation of the patois, what they said was Gade Zaina, G-A-D-E with a little thing on top of the E, right? So Dianne, you would know what it is. And you try to sing that calypso looking at the translation and it makes absolutely no sense. But if I have to memorize the thing, I know I could sing Kele Zaina, oi, oi, Kele Zaina, where, compare, whatever. So again, it goes back to the point we were making earlier on, that maybe one of the reasons why we've lost so many things, because there's a lot of difficulty in actually translating, writing, getting you to say it, to vocalize it. So these are some of the challenges we have. But there's a lot of the Creole remaining and the other patois remaining in our regular everyday dialect in some of the words. If you look at some of the names of our villages, it's French. So we have a lot of that influence in us. Some of the foods that we cook, the plants that we have, shadow benny, all them kind of thing,
Yeah, Livingston, I'm coming to you, Livingston, but let me just take a quick Facebook comment here. Ernesto Jose says, I realize Scholar behaving himself tonight because he wifey on the program. All right, so Livingston, we coming to you now. Let's go.
I want to go back to where I left off. And I said, you give the woman your whole paycheck, boy, and you don't even get a kiss yet. How are you refer to somebody?
A papuntan?
Pafuntan.
A doroi.
And to pull.
All that.
But Godfrey, I think everybody know Godfrey used to do some program before in Salaka food. They always have this big bowl. So Godfrey always take something of meat for he alone. The bowl full of meat. Nobody?
Is the bowl full of meat?
The bowl full of meat. Godfrey would have a whole set of food on his plate, but the bowl and the plate full of meat. What word we could use? The patois word to describe that?
I know about patois. What? Am I telling you liquish?
And don't come with juku.
No, that's not Tivoli thing. That's Tivoli Saraka thing.
Godfrey taking a hototo.
Hototo.
But you see, I would use hototo differently. Like if you have a whole set of fig to bring and thing, you take a hototo set of fig and put on the boy head for him to go home. What wrong with you?
Hototo set of meat. Anyway, if you're a big man, you're behaving as a child, or you have childish behavior, or you're doing childish things, you're making
Papi show?
Well, I have Papi show, but what I had is manje popot.
You make it manje popot?
Manje popot. The woman give you one kiss. Eh?
I thought manje popot was play making food, like keeping home.
Them when you go under the house in the mud and you
making dumpling with mud and you take green banana and the fig thing and you're making dumpling with it and all of that, like manje popot.
Yeah, that is also, I think, when children doing it and you're doing children thing is manje popot, but also when big men. Well, that is what I pick up. I guess it's open to interpretation.
It's true.
Yeah. So the woman give you one kiss and you sell your whole cow and give her all the money. The kiss make you get
tutulbe.
I have pazuli.
I should make you tutulbe.
Yeah.
I find you tutulbe.
Yeah.
Tutulbe.
Is either that or the woman give you a kadamachuku?
Dance on as African.
I know it is.
You bring the girl to the village and only conversion she making, boy. Where you get that? Jamet. Yeah, Jamet. I had Jamagat. Let me just take the last one. I have more, but let me just take the last one. And woke up this morning and her legs was all red with all kind of spots. kiss like shit.
Now don't come with that.
No, someone is saying.
Livingston.
Yes, sir.
Let me give you one.
Yes.
A man well dressed and he's showing up. What are you saying, making?
Let me go, Livingston. Let me go. Don't let me know.
No, I don't know. Scott. Yes.
Man making garbage.
Garbage. Okay, last one for that. A very ugly person is basically referred to as a in our patois Creole. Boo boo.
Abu
is an ugly person?
Very ugly person. Yeah, the bobo supposed to be for the soul food, but the boo boo.
Yeah, Abu is a soul food.
Right.
The bobo is soul food, but the boo boo
is a mama. Look at boo boo. They show.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell them, shut up your mouth. That's your daddy. Oh no, my daddy can be ugly. So it's a boo boo that ugly.
Yes, that's right. Somebody saying here, Alison Mathlin, don't know if the spelling is right. Words Baljamet Ambakaila Pang Vulu Makatumbe.
Dianne has to come in. Dianne.
Because someone Bakaila is under the house and yes.
Pang Vulu Makatumbe.
Vulu Makatumbe sound like Paul. I don't know.
Yeah, Tombe, fall down.
Yeah.
Tombe, but in fact, when you say Baka Tombe. Yeah.
All right, and someone said when we spoke about Hototo, they said the hot spelled H-A-U-T means a pile or something. Hi. So Livingston, yes, we were on point there with that one. Definitely. All right.
And it's possible that it would have been like we like to reiterate. So we like to repetitive. So hi. We join them together because of how we speak. So we say ho to to. But it might have
emphasis.
Been that.
Yes.
Yes.
Last night a man called me on the program and said to me, say, Godfrey, if I tell you have too much value, what I mean by that?
Come in that style.
Yeah, too much zest, too much style.
Yeah.
Well, that's where my mind was. Yeah. I am not sure the origin of that one, but it's beautiful because all of these words, a lot of times you still hear them depending on where in Grenada you go. You hear those words, and they're used pretty often, very, very, very often.
Godfrey, let me ask you. I think you should be able to do that. Otherwise, we will definitely have to take back your visa.
Right.
A famous stick fighter is called a what?
A stick fighter?
Yeah, a famous stick fighter in the Creole language. When somebody say a stick fighter. And help him, please. And
I could tell you them the name of them fellas who used to stick fight in Tivoli.
You don't know how they call them.
Well, I know the name, but
the bois man.
The bois, yes, you give them bois.
Yeah, but I thought
we know that bois man is a woodman.
That's right.
But I thought you were calling a special name.
What is wood?
Yeah, but no, it's wood fighting scholar. So when you call bois man, you usually just talking about a stick fighter. So what do you expect bois man to be? Somebody that just going and look for wood or going and get wood?
No. Bois man is a man beating people with wood.
That's right. You remember this guy, Mr. Shack? He has a calypso about that,
Mr. Shack had that, yeah.
That's right, yeah. He giving them bois. Licks.
He giving them bois. Godfrey, let me just follow up on a point that Sister Anne was making. When she said that sometimes in Grenada, based on how somebody speaks and stuff that they say, you can actually tell where they're from, or even narrow it down to the village. I have two stories. Really. two things that happened to me. You know this Pennacool that sells. There was this gentleman, he came to sell the Pennacool by the ministry, and people were buying the Pennacool. So myself, I mean, absent-mindedly, I say, where are you got that fluke to buy? And everybody watching me, and a whole pile of them. And I realize you have people from different places in Grenada, even from St. Patrick's, and nobody never hear that word. So I call you immediately to find out if you know that word. You tell me you don't know that word.
No, I didn't know it.
So then I started to call, but next thing they say I shan't be melting by. I don't know, and I don't know if other people in Grenada was called Pennacool fluke, but that's how I knew Pennacool. Another thing that happened, right?
Because if I may interject, if I remember clearly, I remember in the early years when they introduced Pennacool, one of the brand was called Fluke.
Oh, yes.
In the early years. Yes, you see, like you have all these.
I recall that.
So the bag on the back, yes.
I recall that.
It was Fluke, FLWP, and it had all these little things like stars going across the plastic bag. So maybe that's why they call it a fluke. It's like, for example, we still have people who call toothpaste Colgate.
Well, every toothpaste is Colgate.
Exactly. So every Pennacool is fluke.
Right. So people must be maintaining that.
The fluke, yes.
You knew what I was speaking about.
But I recall, I mean, I know it's called, so in some places people call it soccer bag.
Yeah, that's true, that thing, soccer bag. That's true, thing. And next one, Godfrey. You remember that song called Mada Mada Madman, buddy?
Yes.
So you have a party Mada Mada Madman when I tell you about they go by Baptist and make shishwe. But everybody watching me that kind of way. Peace, everybody asks me, what do you mean by that? And I myself think everybody know what that means.
Shishwe.
Shishwe, I go put it in the song. And I look at the judges in my film. I realize people don't know what shishwe means. But I grew up with this thing. And I think that everybody knows.
But there are some of these words, when you hear them, even if you don't know, or you probably hear them for the first time, some of these words, they kind of lead you in a certain direction, and you can actually come up with the meaning, what it means, or the context, or the concept, as Carla said earlier. Because, I mean, a word like shishwe, I mean, it basically tells you something. You may not be able to explain it fully, but you understand what the man talking about. Because if you see, I mean, if you've been to one of those, Shango thing, and you see how the people do their thing, and with the shashare and the thing, and I mean, shishwe sounds like a nice word to fit in there. So some words can actually lead you in a particular direction. I do believe that.
I agree.
Oh, definitely. So, Livingston, what else you have for us?
Well, basically that. The other thing I have here, and I don't know if we should go into that, I have about 4, but example, she revisit us, but died during childbirth. Someone that died during childbirth and later on revisited us ever so often. And we use that term. Mama Laddie. But yes. I think that's just, no folk figures, and I don't know, I think there might be a program where we might go into that. I don't know if you want me to continue into that. But actually, let me just say, I have 2 more. A pretty face lady that lured men during the night with the intention of getting them to fall over a precipice. So she very.
Laja bless, yeah.
But let me tell you something. Laja bless ain't have no face. The Laja bless, we say she's a pretty face woman, but you never see her face because she has no face. She's a skeleton. Her face is just a hollow space. That's why she has the big hat. That she don't show you her face. So Lajable's, when we tell the story and we add the little elements to it, but if you look at the serious folklore, Lajable's has no face.
Yes.
Okay.
Because for matter of fact, he said no man has ever actually seen her.
See her, she had no face.
But it's known that she's a pretty lady yet. Yeah.
All right, very good.
I have a word, Kajam. Did we say that all the time?
We know what is Kajam.
Actually, it is a patois. It's one of the words I came across.
Yes.
And we use it regularly. All the time. Let's go to the telephone because the phone has been going since we started. Let's see who is with us. Oui Culture, good evening. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good evening. Go ahead, please.
Good night, Godfrey. You and all your guests in the studio or online. It sounds very, very interesting. But you know, I am older than every one of you in there. And as a consequence, I noted that you're talking about very recent times compared with my earlier times. And that is very interesting. You know, the question is whether it's vernacular, patois, what different accent, Creole, dialect, etc. People hardly try to discriminate. For instance, Bernstein speaks about the universal code of speaking so that people far and wide can understand what you are saying based on your choice of words, the way you pronounce them, and the way you use them in sentences, versus situational language or the restricted code that has its fullest meaning within the local circle. If you try to use the universal code within the local circle, they laugh at you. What you playing? You understand? You're playing Mr. English or Miss English. But I had an encounter once, I think in sometime in 1983. I was in Jamaica. So I was showing a student something. And she seemed very weak in that area. So I got tired. So I said to her, girl, you hit hard, yes? She said, what you mean? I say, you hit hard, you don't seem to be understand. Hey, we don't say that here. We say you have hard. So I learned. You're talking to somebody here in Grenada, again and again, and they not seem to be following what you are advising them or telling them or directing them. They say, you tell them, boy, you hit hard here. In Jamaica, they say, no, you is hard. But interestingly, in the very early days, the various communities in Grenada were not totally isolated, but they seem to be very discreet in their language, the local language that they used. Whether you're from Redmond, Digopis, Timbuktu, Borge, maybe Waltham, or wherever you come from, there one can listen to you, your choice of words and your accent, and make a reasonable guess as to what community you seem to come from. In those days, mobility was not as it is today. You either walk or you take a donkey. No buses here, there, and everywhere. So people from different communities in Grenada didn't meet up so often. In fact, when you go to Tong from the country and you start to speak your country style, Tong people say, hey, country bookie come to Tong. Right here in Grenada. And it's very, very interesting. But Godfrey, I heard one of you all use the term, which suggests Ligarou. Godfrey, whether it be superstition or reality, you all better think that over. If I give you my story when I was 18 years, that is 59 years ago, you will be shocked. My mother, when I was sleeping in the hall inside a big bag. My mother say, "What the hell is that? Leave me alone. Leave me alone." And she would use some obscene words. And in the morning, she would show me her skin, or she would show her common law husband her skin. Look what it did to me. And she would refer to different people. I would say, "Mommy, what else you saying there, Mommy? Mommy, da, da, da." I had an experience, Godfrey, and I wasn't asleep. I was awake in the early 60s. I was dreaming I was in Vietnam, but I led a bachelor's life. So I always slept in the room with a 3-cell flashlight by my bed head, standing. I would tell you no more. I would tell you no more of that experience. Things are very strange. It seems to me that long ago was the age of darkness, perhaps. And we didn't have much electricity island-wide. That darkness seemed to provide an environment for certain things.
Okay, caller.
And you're talking about...
Caller, I'm sorry, but I have to cut you because we must go to take the win lotto draw at this time. But you can call back, yes?
We're talking about the tinsmith in the village with making pan cup and soldering handles to those tin, the small tins, and then using the Trinidad biscuit tin to make the oven, and the drum to make the big oven. All these were very, very nice days. Anyway,
all right, yes, you can call back, yes, no problem. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's just take our final commercial break, and when we come back, we'll take some more calls and, of course, continue the discussion on Oui Culture. Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment.
Do your dreams seem far away from coming true? The National Lotteries Authority's Lotto Jackpot is $266,000. Fulfilling your plans can be just one ticket away. So, play today. Lotto. Play and win a lot of money.
A pleasant evening to everyone. Welcome to the National Lotteries Authority's Lotto Draw number 3116 for today, Friday, September 18th, 2020. I am Anisha Charles. With me this evening is Ms. Priscilla Barry from PKF Accountants and Business Advisors, whose purpose is to ensure that this show is conducted in a fair, accountable manner, with the game balls with industry standards and in a way stamped with. At this time, your tickets ready because we're about to play for a jackpot of $266,000. But first, your free ticket letter. Good luck. This evening's free ticket letter is check your tickets. Your free ticket letter for this evening is E, as in even. Let's proceed for 5 winning numbers. Good luck. First up for this evening is check your tickets in the meantime. First number up is 28, second number. Number is 15, third number up. Third number is 5, followed by 14. Fifth and final number. Final number is 23. Let's recount those numbers. Check your tickets. First number up is 28. The second, 15. Third, 5, followed by 14. Fifth and final is 23. So that's 28, 28, 15, 15, 055, 14, 14, and a 23, 23. Your free ticket letter for this evening is E, as in even. Congratulations to all the winners of this evening's Lotto draw. Lotto, play and win a lot. When you play all the games of the National Lotteries Authority, support sports, culture, and the nation building. Thanks for joining us. Have a fantastic weekend.
I'm a winner. You are winner. We are winners. Winners.
It's the big big one. Grenada, imagine winning $25,000 and up to 6 times by scratching just one little ticket. Get your triple cash scratch tickets for a chance to live your best life. Win easy with Scratch. For just $3, match any of your numbers to any of the winning numbers and win the prize shown for that number. Reveal a money back symbol and win the prize instantly. Triple cash scratch in stores now. Must be 18 or older to play.
Cause I'm a winner. From the moment that I get up, I'm feeling right.
How going on, boy?
Hey, good old things.
Hey, Daisy.
Yeah.
Boy, in line, boy. Your house looking a real good day.
Boy, it's thanks to the hard-working and professional staff at the Housing Authority of Grenada. They handled me real nice. They did my plan, they did the construction, and I didn't even have to worry about a thing. They were there with me every step of the way, supervising the job, asking me about my concerns, giving me feedback as the house took shape. They were there from start to finish, and even put the keys in the palm of my hand. I give them an A++ for customer service.
Oh, it's people from housing bad, boy.
Boy, not bad. Excellent. If you're thinking about constructing your home, why not consult the Housing Authority of Grenada? You could visit them right down in the Sandino complex or give them a call, 440-1015 or 440-1016. Or check out their website, hag473.com. They go handle you. They go jog your blocks, they go draw your plan, they go tote your materials. Hey man, where you going? The Housing Authority of Grenada is your choice for affordable housing and a stress-free construction experience.
Reading is too hard. Reading school books is lame. I'd rather read about children like me and cool things. I can read, but sometimes I don't even know why I have to. It makes no sense.
Why can't we read about things we like?
Reading is the key to unlocking all learning and ensuring that children reach their potential. Here's what the children have to say.
Make reading fun. Teach me how to read, but let me practice reading with things I like to read. Talk with me and read with me, at least for a short time every day. Let me tell you my own stories.
Read, learn, grow. The children are the future. Help them read, learn, grow. So parents, you play your part.
This message is brought to you by the OECS USAID Early Learners Program, funded by United States Agency for International Development.
The countdown is on to win free groceries for 1 year with the Food Fair. Just a few more days left to shop for a chance to win up to $8,400 in groceries. Look out for the live grand draw on October 9th, 2020. Win free groceries for 12 months, free groceries for 6 months, or free groceries for 3 months. Promotion runs until September 30th, 2020. Terms and conditions apply.
Hills and Valley Med Care Center, located on Grenville Street, St. George's, has a highly professional team that gives excellent service in massage therapy, physiotherapy, speech therapy, medical consultation, and more. Hills and Valley Med Care Center sells a wide range of medical supplies, offers home visits for patients in Grenada and Carriacou, and opens Monday to Saturday, 10 a.m. through to 7 p.m. Visit or call Hills and Valley Med Care Center today, 435-6904.
Kindly greasy pole, and we don't dance on the maple. Kindly greasy pole, and we don't dance on the maple.
Okay, welcome back, folks. Boy, the comments are coming. We were talking. One sister Ann mentioned earlier about all toothpaste is Colgate. Somebody said, yeah, like all dishwashing liquid is Squeezy, and all soap powder is Breeze. And you know, we had a way of and we mentioned it earlier, and I was thinking there that a man going and make a what we call a fish broth, Why the F instead of the, and you go remember Mr. Braffit shop and all of those things. And is that what we mean by anglicizing the language? Or let help me out here, you know.
I guess so, because I don't know what is anglicized too. I will not get the expert, but I realize we have changed a lot of things. Godfrey. For instance, Papa is Popeye.
That's right.
Right. When they say a man trips you, he actually trip you. For the trip. Right? Bulb is bulb.
He's a bulb. That's right.
Bulb.
He's a bulb.
Bulb. Right? Film is film.
That's right.
Well, I know, for instance, in St. Patrick's, and you do it too, with us say galvanize and tampolin. Everybody I know don't say that, but we don't say that. A blouse is a blouse.
That's right.
Livingston, how we used to call cutlass in Tivoli?
Cutlass.
Some
people say cutlass.
The cutlass. The cutlass.
I don't know, for me, I would say LASH instead of SS.
But even our cricketers, look, a lot of people say Chanda Paul. We just christen them anyhow, you know.
Oh yes, definitely.
You know, so it's a matter. You know, my husband name is Urias, but I don't see his name pronounced all kind of how. Urias. Urias.
No, we have a way of doing it. I mean, people just call me all kind of funny thing, you know. Godfrey. Livingston just call me Godfrey.
I want to do what Livingston was doing just now. I want to give you some patois words, and I want to see which one of you could tell me what that really is.
Of course.
What is your bushette?
Hey, that's my answer. Under your chest day. When your bushette fall, you're in a bad way.
What is your bushette?
Your sternum. Your sternum bone. The tip of the sternum.
I know. You know the folklore behind the bushette. When the bushette fall, right? You have to plait your hair in the middle of your head and pull it. No, so if somebody like me have a bushette that fall, my bushette gonna stay on the ground because I never had hair in my head, so you have to plait and pull. Right? So that is one. What is your coupillon?
I know that, you know.
It's a patois word, your coupillon.
The same thing is your coupe, not behind your foot, and?
No. I know that, you know. You coupe is
You know that one.
Not you gullet or something, so?
Oh. Your cupia is your coccyx bone. You know, you're going to river your.
Oh yes, that's right. Yes.
The tailbone of the coccyx. That was a name.
Right?
So it's we still have, but we don't use these words like how we used to have maljo. We didn't have that again, but that again is a patois word, eh? Rojai or badai, maljo, zagara.
Yeah, that's gong lizard. The gong lizard.
That's a zagara. What is when they say your cargo?
But hold on, Dianne. Zagada is also a delivery in cricketer.
Yeah.
Well,
no.
Because Zagada is gong lizard.
No, the Zagada.
Particular way.
The Zagada is the one that the ball and rise at all. It goes when it drop. It creep. Yeah, that's the Zagada.
That's it. And the Zagada is a lizard that stays on the ground. The ground lizard. So that is why the ball is called a Zagada.
That's right.
That's all. It's low down. It's crawling on the ground. When we say we kawe, she sells.
Well, that's a lady thing. Them ladies just kawe. And but hold on, them fellas, while them women kawe, what them fellas just do Livingston?
Well, when they drum, they just real kawe because they know it's gyration.
No. Women just kawe, but what men just do? The same style kind of thing. Scholar me talk about that.
Well, we don't talk about that thing.
Them fellas bumping. You remember the man used to bump?
Y'all didn't answer the other one when I said that if a child kagu or the person kagu.
Yeah, they kind of.
They sungu.
Yeah, they kind of they fube.
Well, they kagu. They look well.
Answer you with a patois. When you say kagu, you sungu.
I'm looking for English translation, Grenadian translation. Yes, that kind of you answer that. So we have a lot. Look at what all the things we look at tonight. We have a lot of these things just sitting there with us. That's what we do. That's who we are. That's our life. That's our language, and our language is musical.
Oh yes.
The way we speak, it has music in it. And there are certain words Grenadian people use, nobody else in the Caribbean use them. Some of them I can't say tonight because we're supposed to be on public television. But you're on a train, so when you hear somebody use a body part and say, boy, I cold me, what's it not an all cold? You know that is a Grenadian. Nobody else says those words. Yes? So we have certain things that we say as Grenadian people, nobody say. Like Scholar was talking about St. Patrick. St. Patrick has a song in their kind of flow of what they say. So you might hear them saying, look how the boy wet my shoes in the water now. They say my a lot. Because again, the French kind of patois thing and how it retained itself for a little while longer in St. Patrick's. St. Patrick, that comes across. Yeah? I get upset when we hear a little boy from particularly like St. Andrews, and so we open up our O's. So we don't say dog, we say dog, look the dog, right? Or God. No, I mean laugh. But you know what annoys me, Godfrey? And I don't mean to be, oh God, please forgive me, I'm not being racist or whatever, but when the North American or the American community says, and God is a faithful God, and he's gracious unto us, we clap our hand and we say, amen, the American is speaking nice. When the little boy say God, we laugh at him because he's speaking bad. So we have to stop this. We have to stop this. I mean, you listen to some people from I've listened to American people speak, and I have great difficulty understanding some of them from the deep south, because there's a music too in their own language, and particularly black people and their language, and we must learn to appreciate who we are. I always say when we look at if I have to define a Grenadian, the only thing that is different between us and any other person in the Caribbean is our language. Our language. And our history as a nation. Nothing else. Nothing else.
I wanted to I wanted to ask Dianne. Dianne, we made mention, and a couple people made mention of it in the comments, that depending on where you go, or you can actually identify some people by the way they speak, the village, all of these things. Very early in the programs when we started, we were talking about the vehicle and certain kinds of masks that are unique to certain areas. A gentleman called me and we were talking about it, and I was trying to find out, well, why is that so? And the explanation he gave was when we came, or when our ancestors came to the Caribbean, from the various tribes in Africa, some of these people settled in different parts of the Caribbean. For example, in a country, different areas, and so they carried with them some of their own little cultural heritage, their own little rituals that they did. And so you find out of that, some things remained in certain areas. As it relates to the language, do you think it's the same? The way some people express themselves?
I believe so, to a large extent, Godfrey. People would tend to associate with they would use the language that they're comfortable with, the accents that they're comfortable with. So then the people from the same place coming together would have maintained those accents. And so even if we moved on so many years beyond the when we came from in slavery, the accents and so remain quite a lot in the language, in our spoken language, or that's our Grenadian Creole English, of course.
Great.
We try to change it up sometimes because we want to adapt to the we want to say that we're speaking standard English and we're speaking the standard French and all of those things. But we really cannot get away from what really belongs to us.
True. Now, when we just before we started the program, I played a calypso by composer, a song called Child Training. And composer was making a comparison. Basically, I would think giving credence to how some people use the proper English as compared to the local language. And he made a reference in the song to different things, like how we call our little babies Tunkan, Chungulungs, and all of those kind of names. All right. When I made the point earlier that depending on some of the words that we use, it can lead us in a certain direction. Sister Anne, you might be able to come in here with that. Some of these phrases and words we used then. I mean, how did we come by that? How did we create these things? Like you have a little baby and you call it.
I don't have any specific answer. I think again it comes back to socialization. If that is how you grow up, that is what you're hearing. You have a child and your grandmother calling you chunkans, tunkulungs. It just happens. Because, for example, I mean, at my age, nobody in my family never called me tunkan. I can't remember being called tunkans and tunkulungs. I don't remember that at all. But I don't think we could put a label to say it came from here, it came from there. I think in different families, people pick up their own terms of endearment. Some people call their children sunshine, yellow boy, green. Well, you find a term of endearment based on your family unit and what you adapt and what is comfortable for you. So I don't put labels on that. I just think these things evolve, So there we go.
Livingston, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there are a few patois phrases, and I actually was hoping that Dianne was going to comment with some of them, and I just want to explore. And maybe if the pronunciation is wrong, then I would expect the correction. Example, we have some popular ones like kumawiye.
Oui.
Sabo.
All right, and Savo, right, and you might have mubi and ase. So kumawiye meaning how you do. And I say I'm very well, and you. Dianne, am I?
You could also say muela.
Yeah, muela.
Right.
Etiukale.
Right, yeah. I didn't hear that one.
Etiukale.
I have no idea. Something about going.
We're going. And your grandmother might say, we're calling a live or we're calling a jardin, not going in the garden or going in the river. Right. And I remember that from a childhood. I had a neighbor called Cousin Inot. So every morning she wake up, she would say, Martin, bonjour, kumawiye. Petit bon. They say this stuff and I remember that from a childhood.
There is a next one I have a bonje drag apriteto. Bonje drag apriteto. And bonje drag apriteto. And the interpretation I got for that was God bless you. God go bless you. Then you know that total?
I don't know that expression. I only know bonje.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with the expression.
Here's the next one. Atuka ahale. Where are you going?
Etiukale.
Yeah, that's what you want.
That's what you want to see. Etiukale.
I think that is the correct pronunciation. And one would say mokale lakai.
Okay, mokale.
Yeah.
I'm going home.
Okay, folks, let's go to the telephone a bit and see who's with us. We Culture, good evening.
Good evening.
Go ahead, please.
Godfrey.
Yes.
I'm hearing some modern vocabulary. For example, I want to know what you mean by we go jog your blocks. We go jog your blocks. I want you to spell the word, give me jog, and where is the origin, where it comes from. Is it French, modern English? And for example, the word easement. I hear a new word now, easement. So you could help me out? please.
Okay, we'll try. Dianne?
I'm not sure if joke is French. As I said, some of the words have changed, so the meanings and so on. So we have to do some deeper study investigation. I have to do some research. I started some research on some of the words, but because they are spelled so different, it's difficult. It takes a lot of time too. So I cannot. But it sounds, a lot of them they sound French. But I know the meaning when we say joke, when I know what it means, when in our language. Okay.
All right, let's go back to the telephone again. We Culture, good evening. Hello?
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, go ahead.
Yes, good evening to everybody. I'm enjoying the program. I'm having a good laugh. Yeah? Because I am one for the language that we speak in the Caribbean is not English. It's a Caribbean language. But Godfrey, we have another language.
That's which one?
It's called style. You heard when Auntie Anne say, when the people from America say the words, we don't, but a lot of we don't criticize them, but a lot of Grenadians aspire to speak in style, and they get away with it. That's another language. You understand? You could say a lot of wrong things since you're saying it in style. You're passing. You're getting 100 marks. Scholar, thank you for bringing your wife, because I'm glad that she's there with all her French background. Now, I just want to ask her, please, thanks, if she can just enlighten us a little bit on the word B-O-I-S, because we know it as bois in French, right? So bois, and then it goes with other things. So bois lele, bois bandé, bois Dianne, right? So I suppose you'll be able to explain to us, put it in a context, put it in a French context. And one more thing before I hang up. The words beginning in our patois with J. Most times I know it as J meaning I, right? So je, Jugdodi, is that Jugdodi? I will be there, and that kind of thing. It begins with a J. A lot of the patois words meaning I. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I like to hear putting it in the French context. I like to hear from her. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Yes. Dan?
Okay, so the word bois actually means wood. So when we say we use it in many different, she said we use it in many different ways, because we use it with other, so you make like complex words from it. So the bois bandé, the, what else? Bois, you have sort of expression, bois tête, and these kinds of things. You make a complex word using the word wood and some other word. But bois in itself means wood. But sometimes we use it to refer to like tree. But tree in French is actually terre, la terre, and the wood is le bois.
Okay, all right. Let's go back to the telephone. We Culture, good evening.
Good evening, Godfrey.
Good evening, go ahead, please.
And how are you?
Very good.
Well, I enjoyed the program so good. I'm calling from St. David's side. Scholar, how are you? How are you, Scholar? And Livingston, how are you?
We all good, we all good. Let me hear you, man. We all good.
Well, I want to say something now. Mocha passe. Mocha passe. Mocha passe. Yeah, passing. Something, sir?
I don't know.
Mocha passe.
Sister Anna, help us here.
No, Dianne had to help you. No, Dianne, it's not me. I didn't hear. No, I didn't hear him clearly.
Mocha passe. You hearing clear now?
Yeah, we're hearing you. We just don't know what it means.
And the other word now, il can parler trop.
You talk too much.
Then we talk too much, eh?
Yeah, moi, I can parler mante trop.
Oh, yeah.
And
What happened now?
This there actually comes from throat to the French.
Yes.
Throat.
Yeah.
Much.
Well, and knew a little bit because why some people just come by my mom and my aunt, and every time they come and they speak in patois, she will make us go outside. Because, for instance, like some children don't speak along with big people, and then the people will tell my mom or my aunt, he can parler trop. He can parler trop, and then with that the people that come, they will tell my mom, he can French you. That means beat him, put him aside and beat him. So now, them two was now a grab it real good. So it's a very good thing y'all doing them.
All right, thank you very much, caller. Thanks a lot indeed. Livingston, somebody telling us here, Tivoli and Tibli has some kind of connection. I'm not sure which mean the other. But they basically saying DK Hodge is saying Tivoli. Well, I hope that's what it means Tibli. DK Hodge also made mention of a word here, Papa Mwe. Well, I know about Sese Mwe. I never heard about Papa Mwe, but Sese Mwe, I know that. And there are quite a few others. Someone is saying, Norma George is saying, you will find the origin and meaning of many of the words and expression used. They said there's a handbook of Grenadian English by Thomas Chase and Zara Chase. It's probably something we can look and try and find and see what we can get in there. Let's go back to the telephone again. Oui Culture, good evening.
Yes, good evening, Godfrey.
Yes, go ahead.
How are you? I listened to the program.
Yes, go ahead.
I enjoyed it very much. Concerning about the languages, like the patois, French, the reason why I understand that the British came to capture this man, this Tanzanian culture of Header. So they didn't want the language remain, but the names of different places remain. Now, concerning about these elderly people used to speak the patois for the younger ones to know. But after that, we developed a language which is called Gypsy. And then he had a next one behind, similar to it, right? So when they speak in patois, we speak in Gypsy. And so they so vex.
How the Gypsy used to go?
Gapad Shipi. Godfrey, I say. Gapad Shipi. That is one part. But you have a next smoother one. Guy word Fraiwi. You never heard this before?
No.
Yeah. Okay, if I want to say Livingston, I'll say Livingston. Right, that one. The next one is Livingston. Okay.
Thank you very much indeed, caller. And we want to say good night to Emmanuel, listening from, where is that? Chateauguay, I think it is. Yeah, then someone says, Ernesto Jose says, I remember going to school in MDC and we had a French teacher who taught French, and he was one of the most boring class because the teacher was teaching was dead and the class became boring. Scholar can relate to that class in MDC.
Me too, so I plead in his teeth. I don't know that French.
So they said the class was a boring class.
Godfrey, I don't want us to lose. I couldn't hear the caller very clearly, right? But I don't want us to lose track of what he said. We might smile, but this thing called Gypsy is only in Grenada that happens, eh?
Yeah, so I remember that.
Confuse teachers and parents. So, for example, I would say, "Dapayapan, wapat you put up and skapalapan dupe ipin depe, apal you put me pekikin mapa wepet." School children use that to confuse the teacher and their parents as well. So it was a language amongst school children, and I think the only place I've ever heard that is in Grenada, nowhere else. I don't know if any one of you want to.
No. I have heard it before. I just thought it was children saying things.
It's and I'll give you a story. When we were on tour during the Revolution, when I was a member of the National Performing Company, we were in Canada and we were in a dining room one day and we just decided to play the fool. And a whole bunch of us started to talk gypsy. And the next morning we were all on a television station. These strange people from somewhere in the Caribbean talking a strange language that nobody knew. And it was just a bunch of us in the dining room playing the fool and talking gypsy, and somebody with a camera filmed us. And we made headline news in Canada, just talking stupidness. So, but we were the only ones who understood what was happening, and we were making fun of everybody else passing around us. So it's something children did to confuse both their parents and their teachers. So while nowadays the young ones using, internet language and all kind of MOH, mother overhead, and all them sort of things. We were talking exactly.
All right. Let's go back to the telephone. We Culture, good evening.
Yeah, good night, kapot frippy, apan tipistapa apan skapalapa, apan ipis wapai, apan lipin stap and do for kapal mipi nipin pipis. Listen, I would like to just contribute a little 2 pence evening because my grandmother and my grandfather speak a lot of patois. And I recall when somebody dead in the village, especially a village I know about, there's a man, a Chief Santwell. One of the callers we know the person talking about his name is Godly. He used to be the tongue crier. And that is a man that used to be crying, not them people did. Sakitan Parelot. You understand? Posida Mui. So you know what he said, you know. Somebody dead. Who here tell others that Posida did? You understand? That's a man, you had a loan spot, you had to blow a shell, I ring a bell. Secondly, the village of Chantimel. I mean, some people might know, some people's father was his big Chantwell, but they should know that the fact is it means sweet chant or song. Good night.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you. I want to say a lot of gypsy.
Some gypsy device.
Scholar Wappa.
Foy used to be the Lavier man in Grenville. Tracy used to be the hangman, he used to hang people.
Yes,
yeah. He used to be the guy going around and doing the Lavier call, but he was very mischievous. So, like, let's say, you say Godfrey, he coming out like around 2 o'clock in the morning, Lavier, Sakitan Palelot, Godfrey Mui, Godfrey Kite. Then everybody get up, put on their little clothes, and go on by Godfrey house. Next thing they knock the door, Godfrey and Daddy and Godfrey alive. But Fue Donald she dead.
I remember Tracy.
I'm very familiar with that in St. Andrews.
Yeah. Let's go back to the telephone. We Culture, good evening. Hello.
Hey, good evening, Godfrey. Greetings to you again.
Yes, indeed. Go ahead.
I'd like to make a sort of informed contribution to this program after having listened to it for a couple of weeks now. But I'd like to get something on the name. Tell me something. When you say We Culture, how do you spell that we?
O-U-I.
O-U-I. Great. And I'll end by saying this. We'll be back sometime. Do you know what a sukuya is?
Yeah. Yeah, I know what sukuya is. Are you there, caller? Hello? We seem to have lost him. I'm not sure. Let's try again. We Culture, good evening.
Yeah, you're talking about boar. Hello?
Yes, we hear you.
You're talking about a lot of boar. What's it mean a bui for boar? I used to hear bui for boar. Bui for boar. What is that?
Dianne, you want to come in here with that?
Godfrey, I have no idea. The only bui I know was fruit. I have never heard this expression, bui for boar. But I know something called bui. I don't know his spell. I know bui. Okay, that's a fruit like the something sort of like the flakushan, but it's a small.
Well, I'm not sure. Well, we spoke about the bois, meaning wood, but I'm not sure about the bui and what that actually and the connection. Let's get back to the telephone.
The term I'm familiar with is pui. And when the fellas used to play stick, you know, when you really pelt a blow, and you get hit, they say pui, which means it's a strike. That is, I don't know, that is how I interpreted it. But that's the only place I've heard pui, is when you're doing the chants, when they're doing lavi moensho, tamana, lavi moensho, tamana, Wilfred Kabamwe, boa, calendar, pui, which means pelt wood. That's the interpretation.
All right, let's go back to the telephone. Oui Culture, good evening.
Yes, Godfrey.
Yes, go ahead.
All right, let me turn off that. Yeah. And there is a word, bois canoe. And as a young boy, I remember lots of young guys used to go and cut that tree. It was very light to make the little canoe. Sometimes some of them to go and fish the butterfish and the walwa and the cavalry. The bois canoe tree, they still exist today out in the fields. And it's very, very interesting. And you know, Godfrey and your friends there, one thing of the past in Grenada, I don't know if the poverty caused it, there was a kind of spontaneous cooperation among people in a community in death, in working a garden, in building a house. That kind of cooperation has disappeared from our land. Modernity has taken it away. And we may try to retain certain aspects of the culture, but one characteristic of culture is change. Culture is dynamic. And as people mix and mix and mix and mix more with people from other cultures, especially in a modern day way where travel is easier, we expect certain infiltration in our culture. So it'd be hard to keep the whole one and leave off those influences. Good night.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks a lot indeed. Yeah. The thing is, these things evolve, and over time, you know, it changes. And I guess that's how the difference in a lot of things happen, the pronunciations, and so, because I think that's how some of these things have changed over time. How it was done then, there are alterations now, and that is, you know, I think time is responsible for that. I don't know if you guys agree.
Oh yes, we totally agree. Culture is forever changing, you know. Culture is not something, culture is the way of life of a people, and our way of life is never static. It changes constantly.
It evolves.
Look, yeah, it evolves. Look, I could go back and listen to all my old collections of scholars' music, and it's basically a history lesson. I can listen to his songs from 1983, and I could tell you what was happening in the country at that time. It's the history of a country written in the music of the Calypsonian and in the lyrics of the Calypsonian. So things change. And the same way music is evolving and lifestyles changing and influences are coming in and things we did yesterday we're not doing today, or we just have a little bit of it remaining. That is going to continue to happen. There's nothing we could do about it because culture is forever changing and it's dynamic.
Oh, yes.
Let me give you a simple one. There was a time, not very, very long ago, when funerals, for example, mostly used to be on Saturday and Sunday.
Yes.
But then there are people on Saturday and Sunday anymore. Right? Even the happy hour culture is something that just come just the other day.
Yeah, that's recent.
Something that we knew all along. So it's changing and it's evolving. And you'll expect that.
Oh, yes, indeed. Let's try the telephone again. Oui Culture, good evening.
Hi, good night, Mr. Godfrey.
Yes, go ahead.
I go, yeah. I go, mama. I go, yeah. By this evening, you will hear I go sing by Paradise River, Shango Baptist, and so. A long time I don't see them come down there, you know, because the COVID had the place busy. And I trying to figure out what is I go. I go, yeah, jump fast, so boy. And that remind me of the program with the jump. Anyway, good night. I go, yeah.
All right, like the scholar is making some shishwa.
They're making shishwa, but African tell her that in our song.
Yes. Well, you know, there was a time when African tell, as a matter of fact, one of the Krong he won, it was one of those Shango songs he won with. Yeah. Hutendela. That was it. And yet we're going forward.
That's it, yeah.
All right. Let's try the telephone again. We Culture, good evening. Hello?
Hello, good night, sir.
Yes.
How are you?
Good, go ahead, please.
I listened to the discussion there and thing. Well, last week I think you all was spoken something about the naming of the bees and the French and names and things. But I have some contribution for the naming of the bees and the salt. I have some experience about that. But tonight may be not the right time for that. I don't know. But one of the things I heard, the culture, the changing of the culture, it will come because what happened, the generation changing the culture. Every generation coming up with something different. So that is what helping to change the culture. And the guy spoke about village coming together and do something. I could remember we came in quite from Calice to come to Tivoli and help a group up there to create that same church and pastor up there. And making oil down and dumpling and so forth. That's it in the early 70s, late 60s. So there's a lot of things that goes around in Grenada. And then I heard they all talk about the Zagada. Zagada, the lizard, and also on the sea coast, there's a very flat black crab, black with white spot on it. They also call that Zagada. And I don't know if you all could remember this, what Laja Bless and Dopma. I don't know about these things. And I would like to Miss Aunt Peter, who know the French. What is the meaning of Amba Bele? Because I have a terms on it, Amba Bele, but that's the same place they call in Dusty Highway. But I'm not too sure, but what I learned from my granny is Amba Bele is big belly, But what used to happen inside that place during the French and the war, you see how the place is situated? That is big. They used to store a lot of things there because it is hidden. And the things coming in between by where the Coast Guard is and all the stuff. And all things is high to support the other French troops. And so inside there. So even up to where the lighthouse is now, there used to be a fort up there. There used to be 2 forts on the hill there. And if we go up there now, still, we go there, there's a cave there where, like, when they come from the sea, that's where they hide in and pass to come in. So that is my contribution. But somebody...
Thank you very much, Paula.
Anytime you're interested in knowing about the base and the south.
All right. Thank you very much. 435-204, and that's the number you can call. We have just about 10 minutes remaining. Let's take another call. We Culture, good evening. Hello?
Hi, good evening.
Yes, go ahead quickly, please.
Okay, yeah. You know, as a little boy, I used to climb the bui tree. The bui now is that smaller species to stopper.
I didn't get that.
I said that a little boy I used to climb the bui tree. And the bui tree, the bui now is a smaller species to stopper.
Apple, you said?
Yeah, the stopper.
Oh, okay. All right.
Species to the spot stopper.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, the same color, the stopper, everything like that is the same species.
All right, thank you. He's saying the bui tree is a smaller one to the...
We had a bui tree. Right? You know, I grew up with a bui tree, having bui. And it bui, and after the bui done thing, you're taking that same thing and you're chewing gum with it.
Yes. It's a small version of a star apple.
Yeah.
Livingston, you know it's a bui tree?
I don't know where this thing and them go.
I can't say I'm familiar with it. Maybe I do, but I can't. Maybe placing the name to the tree. I'm not sure. I can't say I'm familiar with it at all.
Did you know Sirek too? Sirek? The big tree with the C-Rect, right? And you don't see these things anymore.
No,
but a real nice little fruit.
Asking about that.
Hard seed inside it and you eat that. When you come from school, you're making sure you find the C-Rect tree.
Oh, yes.
I love that is true because I know when I see a poadu, I mean...
Yeah, no poadu. Huh? Somebody give me a poadu, not too long.
Yes, I didn't see poadu
and kakoli.
And this, yeah, there's a lot of here.
Sister to the poadu is kakoli.
Okay, let's try the phone again. We Culture, good evening. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good evening. Go ahead quickly, please.
Good afternoon to you, Godfrey. Yeah, Godfrey has a famous name that your grandfather and my father, whenever they meet, at least they was brothers, eh? Is Charlie, let's go and take a grog. Do you remember the word that it's a word you're in your thoughts all now?
Yeah, a grog, yes.
When last you heard that?
It's used. It's around. It's around.
It's around. Well, a long time I haven't heard that.
All right.
We now have a brand called Old Grog.
Old Grog, yeah, but that was just a famous word. Instead of going and say, let's go and take a rum or a drink, they say, let's go and take a grog.
Yes, indeed. Yes. Thank you very much. Actually, I think the Old Grog, that brand, it came from the. This is where they took it from. Because I recall that well. Yeah, you're gonna take a grog. Definitely. You know, there's another part of this. Some of the older folks, they used a lot of fancy words. Now, whether they knew the meanings of these words is a different story. But you used to hear them, you know, well, I guess it's style, but he used to use some words that, you know, the meaning is in Chantimel, as compared to what it really is, you know. Sparrow did a song many years ago, Well-Spoken Moppers, where those guys felt that they were actually congratulating him, but in actuality, I mean, they was making him look really foolish. And in the end, he decided to pull the cutlass and pelt a blow and fellas scatter. But I don't know if you experienced some of those, Auntie Ann. Livingston, I'm sure you're familiar with that. Some of them fellas in Tivoli.
But not just, I could give you two occasions. I remember once when I was a junior and I was working with a particular group, this man walked into a room and he says, he was drunk, however, and he had this husky voice, and he says, speaking from a patriotic point of view, I would like to pontificate that I am currently under the affluence of Englehall. And he thought that he was, you know, really being an orator. And then we had a man in our village who did not know the time, but he wore his watch because his son sent a watch for him from England. So when you see him and you ask him the time, he said, well, my son, I really can't tell you what's happening, but the long hand put in hell at the short hand.
Yeah, you had a lot of these things happening. A lot of the folks then, some of them, they were not able to read and write. But when it came to the math, they were extremely good at counting. Extremely good at counting. Read, no. Counting, yes. And there's so much, you know, different experiences.
But Godfrey, they record the language well. You see, in weddings, when they have to give speeches.
Oh, yes.
And in christening, and so when these older people get up to give speeches, I mean, Lord, the language flowing in one word going in one direction and everything, but it sounds beautiful. But you know, nowadays we do the same thing. We make word salads. People say, they want to speak the Queen English. Better you say, don't pass there. But the man going to say, our hair road. He said, just say where you're going. You're on a road here. But no, you want to speak the Queen English. Our hair road.
Excuse me. Let's take our final call for this evening. We Culture, good evening. Hello?
Hi, good evening.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay. I know the program is on Patois tonight, and I really admire the program. I heard a while ago a gentleman mention a fort in the south of the island. let me say that's the first time I've heard publicly someone mention it, because a lot of years ago I came across it, only to go back there a couple of years after to find that it was either sold because people were doing development right on that fort, right? That's up at the light where the lighthouse is over the Monrouge area or BBC Beach. And those issues, no, I'm glad you're speaking about those, because that's oral, and we some of us are still aware of our oral culture, but that sort of issue, because they have been, in my short lifetime, 3 of these forts that have either been desecrated or disappeared. There is one in Livera that the massive guns were removed, and I think they are now on a private property in Chublu. My understanding that these items are in fact belonging to the state, because when you purchase land and that sort of thing, you would see on the covenant that any artifacts that are found actually belong to the state. So I maybe you could do a program in the future relating to these matters, because as I say, there is one that I saw on Facebook recently, and I'm actually really not glad that it's become public, and that's a fort in Telescope. And just this week I saw it, and that would mean that once it becomes publicized and no one is there to protect it, then you might find it ended up on some private property in the future. So I think maybe a program dealing with those cherished items, which are in fact part of our culture, should be done to at least sensitize possibly the authorities that these items are worth keeping, because I am sure most of the listeners would not be aware that there was in fact a fort in the south of the island, and it is being desecrated. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, caller, and that was our final call. Folks, that's all the time we have, but let me give you guys at least a minute to make some closing comments on some of the discussions that we had. So we open with Livingston. We can start with you.
Yeah, just want to say thanks for the opportunity again. I just want to say big up. Just want to say hello to Emmanuel.
Yes, indeed.
And Godfrey had a message for you. I was trying to give you a while now. Control actually said that when I went and spoke to him that you should, you know your way. You should always come back to church. Me and you should come back to church. So I wanted to say that. But something that is very interesting though that came up in terms of when we look at languages, and I know a couple of years I've been observing, and I'm talking to a few teachers in particular, that I found that the people of the Lapotri area, that the way they speak is generally distinct, extremely distinct. Very, very flamboyant, very full of adjectives, And I always made mention to several friends that I have never heard any group of persons speaking as colorful, as flamboyant as people from Lapotri. And I had several conversations with some teachers and they concur. So my final thing is Moka Ale Domi, meaning I am going to sleep, and everybody has a wonderful night. Moka Ale Domi.
Thank you very much, Sister Anne.
Thank you, Godfrey, for giving me an opportunity to share on the program. I just want to share with you what one of our listeners from Miami said to me. As a matter of fact, we were part of the same folk group here in Grenada called Hadzilao. You all might know about that. We used to sing a lot of folk music. And he said, when we started talking and I started to sing Kele Zaina, he picked up his cuatro and started to play all the way out there in Miami. So that's the kind of influence the program is having on our Grenadian nationals in the diaspora. So Godfrey, thank you for that program. And I really want to congratulate you on the concept. And, I would really like to see it grow because I think it's an educational program. So thanks to all our viewers. And Vinyuka way.
That's right. Dianne?
Thank you very much, Godfrey, for giving me that opportunity to be on your program also. And I want to leave with this message that our language is very unique, and our language is something that we should value. we have seen many instances where people are ashamed, and we have discussed it a little bit here tonight. We are ashamed to express ourselves in our own language because we believe that it's something that it's not good, it's something inferior. But our language is actually something very valuable, and we should try to maintain it. I thank you for having such a program because it is helping people to understand certain aspects of the culture. And once you understand, you would value much better, much more.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And since everybody is living with a little bit of patois, but my thing is French, I'll say au revoir, bonsoir, tout le monde.
Scholar?
But let me say of the bus, I ain't living in no patois.
Well, right now, I feel it.
No patois. But it was a nice discussion tonight. Following up from last week, and I think that the program is really growing by leaps and bounds, and we've learned so much tonight. It was really a breath of fresh air. I anticipated that Sister Anne would be more than a breath of fresh air. And she provided that. Sister Anne is a storyteller, and that's the bottom line. She's one of the foremost, or maybe five most storytellers in Grenada. And so her storytelling really came to the fore. I mean, there were some of the things that she said that have stuck with me and profound. The fact that we must be proud of our language. And one of the callers, I think, mentioned that when you listen to a language and you try to take it in its literal form, sometimes it may not make sense to the casual observer or somebody who's listening. I remember there was a story once. They said that two guys were speaking and a foreign fellow was listening. And one man telling the next man, but you're endless man down there. And the foreign man said, oh, endless, boy? What I mean? And the man said, when I say endless, I mean you're a real man down there. A real man, boy. What? Say, man, a really man, I mean you're a solid man down there. Right? Or you're a serious man down there. All of these, your man like Tan, or so your man down there. I'm like poo-poo. I mean, there's no way you could trade anything for that. This is so flawed, that I don't know how people are sometimes ashamed. And as a lady said, people want to speak in style and all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. We are very flawed. And lastly, I'd like to end by shouting out a lady who I met this afternoon in Grenville, a lady called Miss Lion. She's an ardent listener, watcher of the program. Hats off to you, Miss Lion. Continue to watch.
All right, thank you very much. Before I go, I just want to say thanks to all our people online. I know they've been not too happy with we not recognizing them. Bernard John, Mary Peters from Trinidad, Alison Mathlin, Brent McSween, Andrea Mitch, Judith Andel, Ernesto Jose, Francis Williams, and Brent McSween. Did I call Brent already? Quite a number of people who've been online sharing the comments and just having a ball of a time. The amount of LOLs I'm seeing here, it's really too much to mention. But I thank you guys on Facebook and also on the WhatsApp communication there. We thank you so much, Sister Anne, Livingston, Scholar, Dan. I thank you all so very much. You guys keep saying and telling me good program. Look, I'm just sitting here and facilitating the discussion. Without you guys and all listeners out there, this can't happen. So much of that have to go to you all. And Auntie Anne, tell you I'm coming for him.
Yes, when you come for him, what will happen to me?
Well, I'm going to bring you back. I'm going to bring you too.
For him. You ever see language again? Coming for him. You see how I interpret it? You're coming for him and you're coming to arrest the man and go with him,
That's it. That's how colorful the language can be.
Exactly.
All right.
Dianne, watch. Behave yourself.
I'm behaving now. I'm behaving.
Well, you know, we don't always say the watch, but the watch don't really mean watch.
I know, watch, boy, watch. Just
Watch
behave yourself, boy.
Guys, thank you so much indeed. It was a pleasure. Have a good evening. Next Friday, we'll be right back here. All the best.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yes, indeed.
Well.
Yes, indeed. Okay, folks, that's our program for this evening. All good things must come to an end. Once again, thanks to all our viewers of GBN TV and, of course, our Facebook fans. We thank you so very much. Until next Friday, enjoy the rest of the evening and enjoy the weekend. And don't be ashamed of Oui Culture. Have a good evening.